So yesterday we started having an idea on how exactly Oracle keeps its architecture with a collection of database objects. Okay. Now what are the different kinds of database objects what the Oracle manages? It's a huge lot of the things what we have discussed throughout the course. So just don't get crazy about this internal state of the architecture. Just keep an idea like how exactly Oracle establishes. But one thing is final now. Even though by fundamental common sense we say that within Oracle data is managed in the form of tables, but the reality is these tables internally are nothing but some objects integrated to the table space. Table space is a collection of files. Files stored in your actual system, okay, actual operating system or the physical disk where exactly the file can be managed. So Oracle should always keep one thing now. The table space, what is part of your Oracle database, is the only component that will be communicating with the OS now. So table space is acting like what now? A bridge of communication between the Oracle database to the corresponding operating system. Are you catching the point now? So your administrator's final responsibility is to see that he is definitely protecting the table space with the highest amount of priority. Now how he will do that? What are the facilities provided by Oracle? Let us not worry about that because we are not into the criteria of becoming database administrators. But there are certain fundamental points you need to check. The table space is actually building the bridge between the Oracle database and the file system in which the Oracle's tables or indexes are actually stored. Now whenever you start talking about a table space can be a collection of one or more number of data files. But be very clear, one data file can be part of only one table space. Means you cannot divide a data file into two table spaces. But a table space can be a collection of multiple data files. Now, whenever you start working with the Oracle, as far as Oracle's architecture is concerned, we have three categories of table spaces. Means anytime you talk about a table space, it should fall into any one of this category. Either it is a permanent table space, or it is an undo table space, or it is a temporary table space. Permanent table space is nothing but when you think that any of your business data is definitely expected to be permanent by its existence, that all data will go into your permanent table space. Now students will have only confusion between undo table space and temporary table space. Now temporary table space is operational table space, we generally call it as, means what? Suppose say like I am searching some data. Never data searching can be done directly on the disk. Be very clear about that. Means whenever I want to search some data, my data search cannot be done directly upon my disk. So temporarily I should call this data and keep it in some memory location first. And within the memory location only I should do this particular search process. So whenever I conduct some operation, to execute that operation I need some memory definitely. Now Oracle's beauty is even the memory that is allocated temporarily for you, Oracle never loads that particular memory directly at any point of time. Oracle tells the OS, if I want to load any data for the sake of my operations, please load that data within the table space only. So nothing in Oracle can happen without a table space. So why like that? Anything that is outside the table space, Oracle does not promise a security for you. So if a search has to be conducted, to complete that particular search, I need some data that should be kept into the memory for some time. That memory where we are keeping the data for operational process is always nothing but a temporary table space. Therefore, when you are inserting the data, when you are updating the data, when you are deleting the data, this temporary table space will be used regularly. So till that operation is completed, our data is kept in the temporary table space for safety and security. Once the operation is completed, then the temporary table space will be clear. So temporary table space is once again created by the admin only. And admin will try to allocate this temporary table space with every user who is connecting to Oracle. Be very clear, all the users should be on one single temporary table space is not a rule. They can be working on one single temporary table space, but By requirement, your administrator can always configure every single individual user to one single individual temporary table space. So then what is undo table space now? Whenever I am doing some update, let us say, until that update is completed, my data is where? Temporary table space. Once my update is completed, it comes into the undo table space. Now within the table space, till I say make this change permanent, the data will be there only. So don't misunderstand undo and temporary table space. Temporary table space is purely operational. Undo table space is after the operation is completed, till you make it permanent, it will be in undo. That's how Oracle separates its table space by requirement of the process that is happening. Now, how many table spaces we can have like this? There is no limit. Your admin can create by requirement any number of table spaces. So, every table, every index, every sequence, every synonym, every object in your Oracle should belong to definitely one permanent table space if it is considered that it is an object that is permanent to operate by its nature. Now, as soon as you install your Oracle, what happens now? Starting from 10G, Oracle has one special kind of architecture. Starting from 10G, the moment you are installing Oracle and you are configuring Oracle, two table spaces are automatically created. One table space is called as system table space. The next table space is called as system auxiliary table space. Now, what is the system table space and what is the system auxiliary table space? Now, I have one question for you now. According to this architecture, forget about the operating system side. Come to the Oracle side now. If all your tables, what you created, they should be permanent in your Oracle, then Oracle should have some particular structure that can keep your tables registered in its architecture. Am I correct? Yes or no? Means if my structure has to be considered permanently, Oracle should have some structure that can take my structure into that now, which we generally call it as what? Metadata. So before my business operational data can be collected, Oracle should maintain its metadata under which my business data can be applied. Means if my database application has to be managed very properly by Oracle, Oracle itself should be a database first of all. That is the reason Oracle being a database by itself will help you to create a database application. Now, if my database application should be secure, it should be reliable, and it should be working perfectly, Oracle's database should be running very perfectly or not? If Oracle's database is not running properly and perfectly, can my database application exist? No way. So try to understand one thing. For any software program you write, catch me very carefully. For any software program you write, if your software program has to run very properly, then that software what you are using to write this program should run perfectly. Do you agree with me now? If suppose I like the software what I am using for developing my application itself is not running properly, where is my application then? There is no meaning. Do you agree with me now? The same thing if you say that you are developing an Oracle database application, your application, if it has to run very perfectly, if your application has to run very perfectly, then definitely Oracle itself as a database should be very proper and reliable by its architecture. Let us understand one thing. We are keeping all this data and everything in your computer now. Computer is one electronic machine. Anytime, any machine can fail at any moment. Do you agree with me now? Second, when we are working with files, whenever we are working with files, you are reading the file from where? You are reading the file from where? Hard disk. We are operating the file where? In the memory. in the memory. It's OS or anything, let us not worry. Mean no operation will be conducted directly on the disk. Are you catching the